and welcome to another video. I am Alexis, and today in our Let's Chat videos, I want to talk about art supplies, art mediums, stuff like that. What I'm currently testing out in the background video for this is some markers I got at Ross, because goodness gracious, you can find such cheap art supplies in the randomest of places. Personally, I love to go things like Ross, Five Below. I found multiple huge canvases that I have sadly ran out of because I used all of them, but you can find some really good, especially canvases at Five Below. I've gotten some good watercolor acrylics from Ross. This is my first time getting actual markers from Ross. I don't know about Five Below. I've really only ever gotten, I think, one or two paint palettes there, watercolor palettes, which is really good from Five Below, canvases, and then I got these markers that I'm currently trying out right now in the background, and overall I've got to say they're like a 5 out of 10. You'll see at the very end of the video. But if you're looking for art on a budget, go there. The second sketchbook that I ended up trying these markers on is actually a watercolor pad that I got from Five Below, because I wanted to see how these markers would do with a thicker paper, because it definitely bled through, and later on I'll try drawing a little character, and then this is my mistake, using the black marker as a outline, and it just bled everywhere, so I marked it out. You'll see that in a minute. But like I said, these places have really good stuff. Sometimes you just have to look into what you're really buying. Sometimes the brand isn't the best, or the quality isn't the best, but they're really good if you're looking for, art supplies on a budget. And as a high schooler, I'm definitely going to grab the cheaper option whenever I go to the store. And sometimes they work out just as well, sometimes they don't, but it's worth the $6 to try and see if that watercolor palette's gonna work as well as the one that costs $50 that you can't afford. It's worth it in the end. Just give it a try. And that's where I've gotten most of my art supplies, is from Ross, Five Below, and stuff like that. Yeah, I have a few things from Michael's and Hobby Lobby, but that's usually for like Christmas gifts and stuff like that. And I haven't done an art video in so long because I hit burnout so hard last time, and I feel like I'm finally starting to get out of that. And even small things such as just sketchbook stuff, or doing this, testing out markers and stuff, I can feel my love for art coming back, and my passion to do stuff like this. So do expect hopefully some more art videos in the future. But anyway, let's talk about testing out the mediums and stuff that you get. That's always something I really recommend whenever you first get something. See how well they do on different types of paper, like I did, or different types of sketchbooks. See how vibrant they are, test out the colors, make sure they're the same that you think they're going to be, because that can be a big deal whenever you're working on a piece and you have this perfect color and you use it and it's just not the same as what it is on the packaging. Especially for markers. Usually for paints, like watercolor, you can see it directly, and so it doesn't change that much. But acrylic and watercolor both can change, when they do dry. And so it's still really nice to have those swatches on hand in a smaller sketchbook, which is what this is. This isn't my main sketchbook that I use. I've used it once or twice. This is probably the second time that I've used it. My watercolor pad, the main one, the big one, is the one that I use a lot for sketching and stuff, because it was only like $5 from Five Below, but it has really good thick paper that can hold almost everything that I put and throw at it, and I love that thing because of that. But do make sure to test any markers, watercolors, acrylics, stuff like that, because it'll be worth it in the end whenever you finally have that perfect match for your character that you've been looking for so long, and then like one day you just misplace it or something, you forget which one it is, and then you have like the color code, and you'll have everything, and it's really nice. So make sure y'all do that. So last little bit isn't going to be really about advice or tips or whatever, but just my personal opinion. Watercolor is so much better than any other medium, and I will die on that hill. I used to hate watercolor so much. You know, like acrylic was my go-to. I always went to acrylic first, about freshman, sophomore year. And then sophomore year, I was like, okay, I suck at watercolor. I've got to like get down on this. Like, I've got to get better at it. And that's all I did for like a year straight. And now I'm just saying I'm so good at watercolor projects. Like, it's just the best. And once you learn how to be able to control it, it's so nice and it's so relaxing and it's great. And I love being able to build watercolor up and stuff, because then you can make it look like a pastel painting, like an oil pastel or a chalk pastel painting. But it's not, it's watercolor, and it won't move like those pastels will. And don't get me started on pastels. I like chalk pastels personally more than oil pastels, but they're both just really smeary. I don't know any other word to describe it than smeary, and they can get on your nerves really easily. They're not for the faint of heart. They're not for, you know, those elementary school kids that, you know, have them most of the time. I remember my art teacher in like 3rd or 4th grade made us all have like do a oil pastel piece, and I hated it, and it ruined oil pastels for me. And you should not be making elementary school kids use oil pastels. I can barely use them now, and I consider myself a pretty well-rounded artist. Anyway, don't make your children use oil pastels. They will learn to hate you and hate them. And yes, I remember you, art teacher from all of my elementary school years, and I will not forgive you or forget you. Just I want you to know that, and I want you to take it to your grave. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to me chat for a little bit, and please go down, like and subscribe the video, or like the video and then subscribe. And if you want, please watch some of my other videos. They should be popping up on the screen right about now. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.